Good morning. This is Hans with the Crypto Project coming to you guys with the second installment of Crypto and Coffee. Coffee, crypto, whatever you prefer. I got my coffee here, drinking a little bit of Starbucks. Got that fall roast going. No day can get started without coffee. So today is a good day. My Michigan State Spartans got that win this weekend, so I am happy. But I'm coming to you guys today with a video. I've been really excited to get out there, and I know it's something we've been talking about a little bit for a while. This is the second installment on Abracadabra.Money. So the first video, I'll link it somewhere up above, and in the show notes below, we kind of did an overview of what Abracadabra.Money was, kind of how it worked, really the fundamentals of it, so you guys could understand what's going on there. And like we said, this is going to be a step-by-step guide. And so I'm going to walk you guys through that. Unfortunately, I wanted to do this thing on using ETH and go through this ETH system because I think there's some really cool, interesting things there. You need to be on ETH in order to stake your spell, even though you can get it on other networks like Avalanche. But gas right now sucks balls. It is absolute cheeks, and I'm not paying hundreds of dollars just to get a transaction going on Uniswap. But the great thing about Abracadabra.Money is we have options. We're on ETH right now. There's Binance, Phantom, Avalanche, Arbitrum. So those are things we can take advantage of. But before we get into that, I just kind of wanted to walk you through. There's the borrow page here. The components are listed here. So these are, once again, we're on the ETH one. We'll get to other networks here in a second. But some of these are like individual like project tokens like ALCX, Alchemix. Those are not interest-bearing tokens, Phantom. So these ones are going to carry, in my mind, a little bit more risk because the price fluctuation you're going to see in those is going to be a little more volatile versus these interest-bearing tokens are going to be pretty static. You're always going to be able to return those. So rely on those a little bit. They're a little safer. So anyway, so you have the different components here. There's a few options we have here. We can sort these by total value locked, interest, fee, or MIMs left. So interest is going to be the interest you will be paying on this loan that we did. So if you remember, the whole concept of Abracadabra.Money is we provide some sort of collateral. They give us MIM, Magic Internet Money, in return, which is a USD peg stablecoin, which we can then use to go do other things. Whether it be buy something, if you want to invest it in other crypto projects, invest it in something else that's earning yield. A lot of creative ways to do it. So anyways, interest, there's the fee for your liquidation fee. I personally like to sort it by MIMs left. As you can see, we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. Some of these only have like 50 MIM left. So that's like $50 left that we can borrow from the pool. For the purpose of this video, that's not going to be enough. I think I bought, I don't know, like $400 or $500 worth of Avalanche is what we're going to be using. So that's what I like to sort it by. So as you can see, the FTX token, FTT, we have like 20 million MIMs worth right here that can still be borrowed at a 2% interest rate. Here is the stake page. So this is where you bring your spell when you want to stake it. I don't have any spell on here right now. Once again, those ETH fees are hitting hard. So anyways, if you had spell in your wallet, it would automatically detect it. And then you could hit this if you want to unstake it. So if we're staking it, it would show you some sort of balance here. And you would just hit click stake and you're done. And that's like 24% APR right there. When you want to undo that, and we got a comment on our last Abracadabra.Money on how to unstake that spell. You would have the stake spell, that little S in front of there, right here, spell in your wallet, and you would just hit this, and it would say unstake here, and you just hit the button and unstake it, and it would convert your stake spell to spell, which you could then go sell if you wanted to reverse some sort of process. So we are going to go to Avalanche. You're going to need like a MetaMask wallet or some sort of wallet that's comparable. And we're going to switch networks. And so once again, you can't stake your spell outside of Ethereum. So you can buy spell on Avalanche. We can show you that you can get that on like Trader Joe, for instance. but you can't stake it. So we're going to go to the borrow page. There's only two options here. There's AVAX, and then there's Wrap Memo. Wrap Memo is there's some wild things you can do. I think we're going to be doing a part 3 video for this. On this one specifically, there's some interest there's some yield you can get that is just out of this world. We're talking like tens of thousands of percent. It's absolutely insane. But we wanted to make this one a little bit more simple. So we're going to just click on this AVAX. So if you can see, this says ETH. I don't know why my wallet is doing that, but that's AVAX. I have 7.2 AVAX here. And so I'm going to click borrow. And I'm going to click use AVAX. I don't have wrapped AVAX. Sometimes you do. And so like I said, I have 7.2. So pro tip here, you want to keep some AVAX in your wallet to pay for these gas transactions that are going to happen. So to make this easy and to make sure I don't run out of gas, I'm going to do 7 AVAX is what we're going to do for the purpose of this video. And once again, I mentioned using collateral like AVAX. It's a little bit more volatile. It's a little bit more susceptible to runs and decreases, but I think that's okay. I really believe in AVAX. I think it's got a lot to work to run yet this bull run. So that's 7 AVAX is what we're going to borrow. Now we have two choices we got to make. The first is our loan to value ratio. So we have 25% right here. It's telling us this is very safe. 50%, this is a medium risk. 70%, this is high risk. And it's showing you right here how many MIMs you're going to get back. So that that ratio is basically saying, hey, I have at 50%. So it's telling me I have $446 worth of AVAX. I'm going to take a loan out for 50% of that, and I'm going to keep 50% for my collateral. As you can see, this is going to change your liquidation price. This is very important. And so we right now for AVAX is at 64.53, right here. And so when you're looking at this at a 70%, our liquidation price, and your loan will get flagged for liquidation and you'll lose all your collateral and your SOL, 59.50 basically here. So to me, that's a little bit too risky, but I'm very comfortable with this one at 42.50 essentially. So I'm going to hit this 50% medium risk. I'm good with that. Second choice we have here, change leverage. Everyone loves to play with leverage. It's like playing with fire sometimes. High risk, high reward here. There's like a little doc here. I would highly encourage you guys to read that before you start to open a leverage position. So if you want to do leverage, you can choose your loops. And so once again, I can do like a 10x leverage. I'm providing $446. It basically just amps it up. So the important thing to know with leverage does not give you MIM. You don't get 443 MIM. That is MIM that is going to be used to buy more AVAX in this case. Or if you had like Wrap Sushi, for example, you're going to be doing that to buy more Wrap Sushi. So when you're not using an interest-bearing token as collateral, like Wrap Sushi, which gets like 10%, when you're in this case like AVAX, it's just basically opening up a leverage long on AVAX. And so I'm going to just have more exposure to AVAX. So if you really think AVAX is going to pump, you don't have access to an exchange that maybe lets you use leverage, you could use this as maybe a way to substitute that. But you're not going to get MIM back. That's very important. That's a very common issue people have. I've seen it in the Discord. People will say, hey, I need help. I didn't get my MIM. I provided collateral. It's because they opened up a leverage position. You don't get MIM for it. You basically just amplify your exposure to AVAX or whatever it is that you're doing. So I don't want leverage. So we're going to just get our MIM at 50%. So add collateral and borrow. You have an option here to update the price. If you're doing like a really big position here, we're just doing $400. So you could update the price here for a small gas fee. So when I click this, it's going to ask me to approve this. I'm going to pay a little bit of gas. Once again, this is not ETH. I'm not converting 7 ETH here. This is AVAX. So this is very minimal. Screw you, Ethereum. So I'm going to hit confirm. And thanks for taking part in the innovation of MIM. Consider yourself extremely early in taking part. Awesome. So this now shows me, this is kind of like a health bar, if you will, if like you were playing a game or something. So this mana bar displays how healthy your position is. If it's empty, you're flagged for liquidation. So we do not want this to get empty. That would be very bad. Stable interest-bearing tokens mana bar is enlarged by 10x just to get a better visual representation. Once again, those are much more safe for the most part. And so this will tell you, hey, if your collateral price drops by this amount, you'll be flagged for liquidation. So if AVAX's price drops by almost $22, my loan gets flagged for liquidation and I'm out of luck. Or if it drops by this percent. So it's a little helpful thing. Pro tip, if you guys do open up a position and take a loan out here to get some MIM, set an alert on your phone or something. So once again, my liquidation price is like $42.50. I'm probably going to set an alert in like the $50 to $55 range. So that way I know, hey, AVAX, something happened. It's tanking. And I'm going to be able to go in there and take care of my loan, either add more collateral or just reverse it, pay back my MIM. So I should have some MIM here in my wallet. So as you can see, I have 225 MIM. Super painless. So that's essentially $225. So that's my loan. So when I reverse this process, I'm still going to have the 7 AVAX coming back to me. So what do we want to do with this? We still have our 7 AVAX. That's just kind of sitting in a bank or a vault somewhere. But now I have $220 worth of basically utility that I can go use to make more money. And so I'm going to go to Trader Joe. So Trader Joe is here. I'll put a link down in the description. But TraderJoeXYZ.com, they have all sorts of stuff. So if you go to their farms, it takes a second to load here. They have some specials going on right now, actually, where you can deposit some collateral here and get some yield on these things. So they have 4 basically bonus pools right now going on for Joe Rush. I'm going to jump into this in just a second.
So sorry to interrupt.
Editing this little clip real quick, you guys. I forgot to mention this when I was doing the walkthrough, and I think it's really important. They're currently doing Joe Rush right now on Trader Joe, and so they are boosting the yields. And if you remember, one of my weekly picks was Orca, and I did it when it ended, and Orca's price tanked. And that's because they were really pumping in that Orca supply. Same thing could go on here with Joe. I'm not saying it will, but it could, and it's something I want to make sure you guys are aware of. So those pools that have those boosted rewards, they're currently on like a time schedule. So the Joe AVAX pool I put the money in still has 33 days left, so we still have quite a bit of time.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
But they're basically giving you some bonus yield. And so they have a AVAX spell pool here, an AVAX Zava, I don't know how to necessarily say that, a Yak AVAX and a Joe AVAX. This Joe AVAX one is looking pretty tasty. That's at like very nearly 100% APR. I'm a big fan of that. So I'm thinking that might be a good place to get some of, so take our $220 and we'll convert that and we'll put it in this pool. We'll earn 100% on our money, while back at Abracadabra here, we are paying, I believe it's a 1%. Let's check. A 1% interest fee here. So on Trader Joe, I'm making 100%, paying 1% interest. So that seems like a pretty good deal to me. And so, okay, let's hit this. So on Trader Joe, you need to provide liquidity pool tokens. And so for some of these, they have a really cool tool called Zap. So we will go to the Zap, you hit select a token, and we will refresh this because obviously we have more MIM than that. We have 224, and we'll go to max. One thing that I sometimes do is just get rid of all those decimals. It just makes it a little bit easier. And so you now need to pick your liquidity pool that you want to do. So we wanted the Joe and Wrapped AVAX is what it is. So we are going to go there. And we will hit the Zap button here. And once again, you have to approve it. We have to pay a little bit of gas. This is why, once again, you wanted a little bit of that AVAX still in your wallet to pay for these transactions. So hopefully this goes through smoothly. Awesome. Confirm transaction. Okay, so now if we look at our MetaMask wallet, it should say we have the JLP. That's the liquidity pool token. So now we go back to this farm page. Once again, it's got to load. This is the one thing with Trader Joe that I've found that I don't love. You have this loading page every time you go through it. It's very minimal. It's really just me being a baby. But so I'm going to stake my liquidity pool tokens here. Hit stake. Hit confirm. And while we wait for this to pen and go through here, when it does, as days go on, your pending rewards are going to build up in Joe or AVAX. There is literally no downside to harvesting these. So as you can see, I now show I have $225 staked into this liquidity pool. I have a very low share. So I'm going to get these APRs here, 81%, and then that 18.8 bonus. So I'm getting Joe and AVAX as a reward. And so you would just hit this harvest button. I'm not going to confirm this because I'm probably going to pay more in gas just to do this than I would be getting in rewards. But you would hit this confirm button, and that would actually add, I better hit reject, otherwise it's going to go crazy. That would actually just show up right in my wallet. I would have some Joe and I would have some AVAX, just that would just grow in my balance. The cool thing you could do with that is if you have enough in here and you're earning enough, you could convert that to more liquidity pool tokens and increase your position here from 224. And so now, just a refresher, I bought $400 or so worth of AVAX. I took out a loan against that at 50% of a loan to value ratio. I got MIM with that. I took that $225 and bought these liquidity pool tokens on Trader Joe, where I'm now earning almost 100% yield while my loan is open. So that's pretty awesome. Normally I would have to take my $400 in AVAX and just convert that 400 into this. And so that's great. I would still be earning 100% yield, but I wouldn't also have that upside of AVAX where I don't want to release. Maybe I had a really good position in AVAX. Maybe I bought when it was down at like the $15, $20 range, and you just didn't really want to sell that and have a taxable event go on. So that's another super big advantage of this. Basically unlocks those dollars. One other thing I do want to note, because I struggled with this a little bit. One, this, I've been practicing this quite a few times. It is not always this smooth when you're dealing with DeFi. Sometimes you have to refresh the page a lot. It can feel a little clunky at times. Do not feel discouraged if you guys run into that. It's very normal. It is not an uncommon thing. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong or anything like that. So don't get discouraged there. Two, some of these ones, you don't have that zap option. Like this AVAX spell one, I couldn't zap really easily. And so you had to go into pool here. And you basically have to hold equal amounts AVAX and spell in your wallet and convert it here. So what I would do is you might actually want to do liquidity highest. It'll be one of the more common ones. So if we go down here, AVAX and spell right here. So we found this one. I would need to input equal amounts in terms of dollars, AVAX and spell. So it would be much more spell than AVAX because spell is like 3 cents a token. And so you could do that, and then you would hit that and you would basically add liquidity that way. So it's not quite as easy if you do the zap process. So I think that's super cool. I'm now earning that 100% yield nearly on my collateral. And once again, I'm still getting that upside on AVAX. So what I want to do is, normally I would let this ride, and I'm very happy with how this is set up. I would just take out that the 100% yield. But I'm going to reverse this process right now with you guys so you can see how to undo this. So if you are in the pool section here, this is a little bit different with all the DeFi ones, but if you go to my pool, you can't reverse it at the Zap page. Like if you hit here, I can't hit Magic Internet Money and hit this arrow. It just doesn't work. That would be a cool feature. Trader Joe, if you're ever watching this video, I would love for you to add that. That would make it really easy. But if you go to pool, it's fetching my pool positions. It might take a second to load because obviously I just put this liquidity in there. And here's maybe where we need to do one of these notorious F5s. And hopefully this works. But anyway, so we're going to reverse this process. And it's basically we follow these same steps going backwards. So we are going to withdraw our position from the liquidity pool. That will give you, even though I took MIM and just got direct liquidity pool tokens, it just basically balanced it automatically for me. It is going to give me an AVAX to Joe ratio that is even. And we are just going to go back to the home page here. And we're just going to kind of restart this. Once again, this is normal, guys. For some reason, sometimes it gets a little bit fumbled. And so we're going to take those liquidity pool. We're going to cash that out. We're going to get some Joe. We're going to get some AVAX. We are then going to need to convert that to MIM because that's what our loan was. So if you go to my pool, and so once we get that MIM back, we can then go back to Abracadabra.Money and provide the MIM back that we borrowed as a way to basically close out our position, and then we're not at risk of getting liquidated. So hopefully this works so I can show you guys. I would normally maybe throw on some elevator music or maybe take a look at what else is going on. The one other thing that's kind of cool, if you do, spell's going off right now. Like if you guys look, spell was one of the tokens I called for one of my weekly picks. I called it at like 0.019 or so. And so we're at nearly almost 3 cents here per token. So it's just red hot. It's gaining a ton of traction in the community. And I am not 100% sure why this isn't loading. Something might be going on with Trader Joe. So if I hit unstake, I can just unstake these right here. And maybe that's why it wasn't working. Maybe a little user error there. So, okay. So we're going to unstake. When you unstake, guys, it will automatically harvest all your rewards. It's not going to like leave them there if you forget to harvest or anything like that. Okay. So this is, I'm sure, going to work now. There we go. User error. Blame that one on me. So this is now showing me what liquidity pool tokens I have. And so you have the add button here. We are going to remove. We're going to hit the max. So it's going to show you how much Joe and AVAX I'm going to be getting back. So I'm going to be getting 44.471 Joe and 1.74879 AVAX. So hit remove and hit confirm. I've already done this process once before. Sometimes when you try and do a transaction for the very first time, you have to like authenticate it, and there's a small fee that you might have to pay. But then every time you do it after that, after you've already authenticated, it's just a small gas fee. Once again, beauty of Avalanche, relatively cheap in terms of gas. So I'm very happy over here. Okay, so we've removed, basically, we took those liquidity pool tokens, we took them out of the staking pool, and then we just cashed out on them. And so you can see here on assets, we have 1.9374 ETH. Once again, that's AVAX, wish it was ETH, and 44.472 Joe. And so now we need to get MIM back, right? Because our loan, if you go to your dashboard here, it will show you all like the open positions you have. So like I have an open deal here, shows me how much collateral I provided, how much MIM I've borrowed. So I've borrowed 223.8927. So when I do this, I am going to go. And so one other thing, guys, you can buy spell on AVAX. So if you want that access and you want the upside of spell, But you don't want to pay those ETH gas fees. This is the cheapest way I know of personally to be able to get spell. The downside is you can't stake it. You could bridge it if you wanted from Avalanche to Ethereum. You're going to once again pay those gas fees, and then you're going to pay it to stake it. But you won't pay those ridiculous Uniswap fees to get them there. So that's one thing you guys might be interested in. So I'm going to do max here, swap to MIM, hit confirm, confirm again, and it will pend. And then I'm going to have to do this swap one more time for Joe. So, because remember, it gives me equal parts in terms of dollar value, Joe and AVAX from that liquidity pool token. And so I can just probably do this. Transaction confirmed. Once again, I'm pretty anal. I'm always going to check that. And so I'm going to do all my Joe, swap. It'll tell you kind of the route it goes. It goes actually Joe, USDT, wrapped AVAX to MIM. So that's 3 actual transactions that Trader Joe is just doing for you naturally, which is awesome. So this is saying I have insufficient funds, which, see, this is where I messed up, guys. I converted, so we're going to have to reject this one, unfortunately, and dismiss. So I converted all of my AVAX. I hit all. I messed up and did all of it to ETH, or AVAX all the way to MIM. So I am going to need to put a little bit more AVAX in this wallet. I'm going to pause this video, guys, so you don't have to watch that process. And I will be back in just a second so we can finish this. But once again, I didn't even follow my own rule there. That pro tip, make sure you always have enough for gas. You can always get bit there. So I'll be back in 1 second with a little bit more AVAX.
1 hour later.
All right, we are back. I got some more AVAX, put it in the wallet. Rookie mistake there. And so once again, we're going to hit max on the Joe. We need more MIM. So we're going to swap, hit that confirm swap, confirm, transaction submitted. It's going to be pending. And I'm not going to edit this, you guys. I'm going to leave this basically pretty raw so that you guys can see that it's not always perfect. There's definitely some fumbling here on my end in terms of how to cash out that liquidity pool token. Trader Joe, not their fault at all. But anyway, so now let's see. Let's check our wallet. We now have 235 MIM, and we owe 223. So we actually, AVAX or Joe, one of the two must have went up a little bit there when I did that process. And so that's great. And so now I'm in my dashboard. This MIM balance on Bento Box section here, this would be if you had a leverage position. It's handled on Bento Box, which is on Sushi, Sushi Swap. And so now all I have to do is hit repay, or you could borrow more and you could go from like a loan to value ratio of 50% up higher. So we are going to repay. I've had mixed results in terms of hitting the max here. For me personally, if you're not trying to pinch every last cent, I would round this up a little bit higher. It won't let me, I guess, never mind. So I'm going to remove this collateral and repay. I did do this once. Maybe the price changed when it did it, so I had to do the loan repayment process once, and I'm assuming the price of the AVAX or something went off. I basically had to do it twice. And the second time was like for 1.2 MIM or something like that. And so I had to do the process over again. So as you can now see, my little guy is good. And so if you go to your dashboard again, really helpful, it will say, I have no open deals. And so that was that whole process. Obviously, after this video, I'm probably going to redo it all again because I want those 100% yields. I don't want to just sit on my AVAX. I want my money making money for me. And so that is it, you guys. That process is pretty consistent with all the different ones. Once again, Ethereum has way more options. So we're going to go back over here and take one last look at that borrow page. So these are your options here, you guys. There's SHIB, there's Spell, there's Stake Spell. So what I really wanted to do today was to You do this whole process, get MIM, buy spell, and then stake that spell. And use maybe an interest-bearing token to start with. So Wrap Sushi, that's about 10%. Few suggestions on my end for Abracadabra.Money. I don't know if there's a way to automate, like, hey, for these interest-bearing tokens, what is the current APR of the interest-bearing one? So I can go, currently, I don't know of a better way other than just go find each one of these individually so I can know how to maximize these yields. But overall, pretty easy process, not too hard, you guys. As you could see, that it took a little bit of time, but all things do. And as you get more used to it, it becomes pretty intuitive. So if you guys made it this far, I really appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like button, hit a subscribe, turn on notifications. We have a lot of content coming for you guys. This week is going to be an exciting week. Right now is such an exciting time to be in crypto, and hopefully this is another tool you guys can use to help maximize those gains. And so with that, I'm going to wish you guys to have a great day, a great week, and we really appreciate you. Take care.